You're live.
Good evening. Look at that, 5:30 on the dot. Welcome to the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District Board meeting of November 5th. The board did meet in closed session with one reportable action, which I will read out to you now. And this goes as follows. The board voted 5-0 to ratify a release and resignation agreement with a permanent certified employee of the district. That closes our report out. And at this point, Aaron Lefevers, please stand and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Aaron, I had to, because you had the bright shirt, the bright shirt that was right there.
Wearing this color. Apparently it was a stormy day and we all wanted to be bright.
Ah, nice work. Well, that worked. Superintendent Kramer, are there any changes to the presented agenda this evening?
No changes, President Driller.
So would any board member care to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented? I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to public comment. I do not have any public comment cards, but is there any public that wishes to speak? Seeing none, I will close public comment and move quickly to our student representative reports. First up, we have, is this Truckee? No, North Tahoe, sorry. This is Randy?
Yeah.
Okay, will you guys just state your names when you get up there? Thank you very much for coming.
And just press this button. All right. I am Randy Martinez.
And I'm Kenya Alani.
All right. Do we just begin?
Yep.
All right. So, good evening, members of the board. Over the past month, North Tahoe High has been busy with several events, programs, and celebrations.
Breaking Down the Walls was a powerful experience for all 10th and 11th graders, with senior leaders helping guide activities that build empathy, connection, and compassion across our student body.
And Hope Squad training also took place this month, giving students the tools to support peers and promote positive mental health and awareness throughout the campus.
Sophomores and juniors had the opportunity to take the PSAT during the October minimum day. Many students said they felt well prepared and appreciated being able to test on campus.
Homecoming was a major highlight in October. The Under the Sea theme brought a great energy to Spirit Week, the rally, and the night football game. The dance had a strong turnout and was a fun way to wrap up the week.
We also celebrated Hallway Halloween, where different classes and clubs decorated hallways and dressed up, showing off their creativity and school spirit.
Throughout October, we hosted several colleges and career events, including visits from NYU, UNR, and speakers representing fire-related and military careers. We also had a talk about college athletic recruiting and a field trip to the Universal Technical Institute. Coming up in November, students will have visits to Milan and Paul Mitchell trade schools in Reno.
Next Monday, the Red Hoop dancers will perform traditional Native American dances. This connects perfectly with what students are reading in English. Ninth graders are studying the Absolutely True Diary of Part-Time Indian, and 10th graders are beginning there. Both grades are also completing field journals through Musica Sierra.
On November 13th, we'll have conference night and the Grit Kermes at Kings Beach Elementary. Families will be able to meet with teachers for one-on-one conferences, and students will share their grit goals and progress.
We're proud of how engaged our students have been this fall in academics, activities, and community events. Thank you for your continued support of our school and for helping make these opportunities possible.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. Wait, is this your first one? This is the first time you've come?
This is my third time.
You're your third one. I think this is your first.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much for
Thank
coming.
you,
I
guys.
appreciate it. Wait, can I ask a question? Who won the, which class won the hall?
Of course, our grade, the juniors.
Okay, the nicely done.
I'm Miss Driller.
That was, I know, check it out. Okay, thank you very much for coming all the way over here. And then Quinn? Quinn is going to represent Coldstream Alternative this evening.
Good evening, Superintendent Kramer, members of the board, and members of the cabinet. My name is Quinn Holan, and I'm a 12th grade student with Coldstream Alternative. We successfully completed the first quarter of the school year in our alternative education programs. A shout out to all of our students for all their hard work in the first quarter to finish the first quarter strong. Thank you to all our amazing teachers who helped our students earn their credits. Ms. Herrera's high school CTE forestry class has been very busy outdoors. Recently, she took her students on several study trips to explore the forest ecosystems and learn about our environment. She's also been taking several trips to the Sierra Valley to interview local ranchers regarding recent wolf activity in our region. Students in Ms. Herrera's class are in the editing phase of the Wolf Project documentary. They plan to enter their documentary into the Wild and Scenic Film Festival in Grass Valley and the International Film Festival in Montana. The students have been working so hard on this project, and it's exciting to see the progress that they are making. Students in alternative programs have taken the Satchel Pulse social emotional screener to determine what levels of social emotional support they might need at school. Our social emotional team has started evaluating the data so they can pinpoint areas they can offer help, support, and services. Sierra High School and Truckee Road program students celebrated Dia de los Muertos. Students were able to share stories of loved ones they've lost and come together as a community to lift each other up as part of the celebration. We've begun the FAFSA application process with our seniors. A lot of our students are eager to start applying to schools and programs so they can begin the next chapter of their lives. Ms. Carlson, our college and career tech, has been super helpful throughout this entire process. Coldstream Alternative has their mid-cycle WASC visit in December. Staff completed their WASC self-report and submitted these for the visit. This is an exciting time where the staff, parents, students, and stakeholders can share with the WASC team their amazing experiences that Coldstream has to offer. Equally, it's a time of reflection on what's going well, but opportunities for growth and improvement. The winter sports season is upon us. This means our Coldstream athletes are training and gearing up for competition. Coldstream teachers are excited to help and support our student athletes with their schoolwork, classes, and their traveling schedules. That's it for tonight. Thank you.
Holy moly, Quinn, did you grow more since? I think you've gotten taller. I think you have. That was, thank you very, very much. That was a speedy one. Truckee High, nothing like sneaking right in there. Girls, it looks like
President
Sophia
Driller.
and Mia. And 1 second though.
Well, no, you can go ahead and
Oh.
come up. While you guys are coming up, though, could we, at some point, be let known, the board, if there's an opportunity to view that documentary or that film?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
no, definitely.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Mia Bovary. I'm a junior at Truckee High. This is my third year of student leadership, and this year I'm Senator of Fundraising and Community Relations.
And I'm Sophia. I'm also a junior, and this is also my third year doing leadership. I'm the Senator of Parking and Campus Safety, and here's our little report over the past couple weeks.
So, I don't know if you guys already talked about this, but we had our homecoming Powder Puff. We had great attendance, and we wanted to thank you guys for the community support. Powder Puff was a little bit different this year. We actually got our own custom jerseys made with our ASB funds to promote like inclusivity. And we also had new safety requirements, and we noticed there's a lot less injuries. Like we got a ton of mouth guards donated for all of the girls. Required like no acrylic nails, things like that. So, which was great for me because this was my first year doing it, so I never experienced it otherwise. So yeah.
We also had a lot of success with our sports these last few weeks. Our boys soccer went to Vegas for states this weekend for championships, and then football's playing their second playoff game on Friday in Elko, and then volleyball is playing states in Fernley on Friday. And then girls soccer also went to regionals and got third place. And states went to Vegas last weekend, and the girls got second place and the boys got fourth place. It was pretty good this year.
And then for this semester's changes within leadership, we are missing someone very important. Our advisor, Ms. Delgado, has been on medical leave for the past couple weeks, and she's unlikely to return for the rest of the semester. So we just wanted to highlight the temporary teachers, Mr. Close and eventually Mrs. Rosenblatt, that are going to take us over and step in, which is a lot to take on because we're a very dynamic class. And we wanted to show appreciation to our ASB officers who have been kind of holding it all together, and they kind of are doing more than they even signed up for, and kind of holding it all together, which has been really nice.
So we did have our Halloween Spirit Rally last week, the 27th through the 31st. We planned and promoted it. We had very good attendance and participation. And we also did that all student-led without Miss Delgado and our teachers, especially the rally. We had games and lots of fun things for the Halloween week.
Yeah, that was kind of our first time doing it fully on our own, so it felt like even more accomplishing. We just wrapped up our canned food drive. We did collection today, or we started collection because there's quite a bit, and we're planning to communicate with Sierra Community House for their hunger relief program. Yeah, so we plan to drop off or coordinate with them. We plan on doing all the sorting ourselves too with student engagement so that they don't have to do it with their volunteers.
So then last thing, we did do our Alice training once again in our SS classes. And
Yeah, it empowers us to be smart and safe in our schools. So that's kind of all that we prepared for this meeting.
Thank you.
very much.
Yeah.
We do love it when you come, so thank you very much for taking the time to do that.
Thank you. Sorry about the video last time.
Oh, no, that was awesome.
Tried, I know.
That was perfect.
It was such a busy week.
Nope, you did it. You got bonus points. Take care. Moving to 9.0, which is a tough follow. Superintendent's report. Superintendent.
I really should negotiate a new order, but that's okay. So thank you, President Driller. So before I get into the strategic plan updates, I want to take the opportunity to thank our community. So Excellence in Education Foundation just concluded their fall fundraiser for support our students, and they fundraised almost $60,000 from our community. These are just small one-time donations, some large generous donations from businesses and community members, but all of these dollars go towards the teacher grants that they'll offer in the spring, and allows our teachers to innovate and try new things with our students, and it just enhances the educational programming. So thank you to Excellence in Education for all the support they give TTUSD, and a huge thank you to our community for their generosity. Okay, I was worried the girls were going to steal my thunder, and Randy, I should say, the girls and the guys. So, along with all of these teams going to state, we know some of them are rolling out tomorrow morning early to go to state. In NIAA, as well as CIF, they also look at academic standing of the athletes. And what they do is they take the grade point average of all of the students on the team, and they qualify for fall, or each season, this being fall, of course, academic state champions. And look at all of our teams at Truckee High and North Tahoe that were either champions or first or second place. So it really shows that we have well-rounded athletes, that yes, they're succeeding out in their sport, but they're paying attention to their academics, like we heard Quinn say. They have great teacher support. So congratulations to our students, the teachers, and the coaches for the well-rounded support of our kiddos, and good luck in state this weekend. We know we're going to bring back some trophies. Okay, so I also wanted to share with the community a reminder about the importance of attendance. So if you look at the colors, you probably can notice a pattern before you even look at the key. And if you had to guess with red, is that good attendance or poor? And if your mind, you think that's probably a poor attendance day, you're correct, because those Mondays and Fridays. So the teal color are days where more students were present at school. We had less absences. White is about average, and then red means there's too many students gone and missing school is above the average. So we are still seeing that tendency of Mondays and Fridays of being missed days. So it's a reminder to our community and students about the importance of coming every day. We know things come up, and certainly our student athletes miss, but they make up the work, but really to make an effort to come every day. But we were pleased, and I'm sure the students would be too, to see on Halloween the great attendance. Because of all those activities they were planning all week, I think the kids really wanted to be there at school. So families, students, help us come to school every day. So then for the update, we know having kids in front of the teachers every day is foundational for the success of our strategic plan. And in academic achievement, you're going to hear a lot from our Assistant Superintendent, Sean Roderick, in another board item. But Alder Creek Middle School is on an honor roll for Educational Results Partnership, and she was just notified this week. So this is a nonprofit group. It actually is about 28 different chambers of commerce from around California that help sponsor this. And all of the data goes public. And this is based on the state assessments, the CASP scores. And they just go in, dig into the data, and you can see in order for Alder Creek to make this honor roll, it means over the last 3 years that all different cohorts of students, so this would be students with disabilities, English learners, redesignated students, Hispanic, and so on, you know, how we look at that disaggregated data, all of those groups were over that trend line, at least 80% of the time. So in summary, it means that they're doing a great job of closing the achievement gap. So we're very excited for Alder Creek to get this recognition, and Mrs. Roderick will go deeper into our state testing data, but huge shout out to Principal Larson and her team over there for their very intentional work with the kiddos. They're making great progress. Super exciting. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, that was. In our support systems, we're always looking to enhance our infrastructure. And as you know, we have a top-notch award-winning food services team. And part of their success is the connections they've made with the larger community. And November, I believe, is Farm to Tray Month. Is that the right name?
Farm to School.
Farm to School. Thank you, Amber. And it was October. Okay, I'm a little bit delayed. So in October, it was Farm to School. And part of our grant, the Sprout to Spoon, includes students going to visit the farms so they can see how the produce is grown and how it's processed and get to sample it. This is actually a link to a video. It was in our October newsletter that came out, I believe, on October 30th from Amber Burke, and I encourage everyone to watch the video. Our very own Tahoe Truckee Media, Rory, who's here tonight, and Dan. Rory did the voiceover for the video, and it's excellent. It's there on the farm. They interview the farmer. It shows our students engaging. It's just really a great video. So huge shout out and thanks to Rory and Dan, our Tahoe Truckee Media team, for making the video, and thanks to Kat Soltemon and her team for the innovations they do in our scratch cooking and providing local, organic, fresh, scratch-cooked food for our kiddos. Just amazing work. And then finally, I want to appreciate our high schools. As you know, in Community Connections, one of our priority areas is making sure we're supporting families and students at transition points. And a big one, as we heard Quinn mention, and North Tahoe too, is being a senior and thinking about what's next. Is it a trade school? Is it a associate's degree? Is it that 4-year degree? So Truckee High, on Monday of this week, had their FAFSA support night for families to come and learn about the benefits of filling out that form. And we have North Tahoe offering that in December. So just huge shout out to our high schools for supporting the kids and families at these important decision points so that they can get questions answered and get help in filling out the form. And we do encourage families to fill out the form even if they're not sure, because it can qualify you for local scholarships and national scholarships. So just like the PSAT, even when things are optional, we encourage participation because it can open doors that you weren't expecting. So that concludes my update, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that. Any questions from the board? That was awesome. I love seeing these new little things that we're doing in the schools. 10.0 resolutions, Superintendent Kramer.
And for this item, we're going to turn to our Executive Director of Student Services, Dr. Anna Marie Cohen.
Okay. Thank you, Superintendent Kramer, and good evening, President Driller, Board of Trustees, and community. During the week of November 3rd through the 7th, 2025, the National Association of School Psychologists and schools across the United States will mark National School Psychology Week, an annual opportunity to recognize their work to help children thrive in school, at home, and in life, aligning with this year's theme, Finding Your Path. School psychologists apply sound psychological principles integral to instruction, school safety, and social-emotional development, utilizing their specialized training to deliver a continuum of mental health services and academic supports that lower barriers to teaching and learning, nurture individual strengths, and help ensure all students thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. They are trained to assess student and school-based barriers to learning, utilize data-based decision-making, and implement research-driven prevention and intervention strategies, all of which are aligned with more than 60 years of well-established practice and standards within the profession. It is staff's recommendation that the Board of Trustees adopt Resolution 8, 2025-2026, National School Psychology Week, November 3rd through the 7th, 2025. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Cohen. Board, any questions, comments? With that, I'll bring it back for a motion for 10.1.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution Number 8, 2025-2026 for National School Psychology Week.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Oh, sorry, aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. 10.2, Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, and we turn back to Dr. Cohen.
Thank you. Tonight, we are recommending the Board of Trustees authorize Superintendent Kramer to sign the application for continued funding for the California State Preschool Program. The amount of funding will be determined upon review of the application. The Tahoe Truckee Unified School District is awarded a contract from the California Department of Education each year to provide full-day state preschool programs for 24 children from income-eligible families. The program is located at Truckee Elementary. The Student Services Department has direct oversight of the program, and the majority of the students enrolled feed into Truckee Elementary TK or K, and the program contributes to school readiness. The district's special education preschool is also located at Truckee Elementary, and the state preschool provides on-site opportunities for mainstreaming with age-appropriate peers. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Any comments?
Nope.
Bringing this back for a vote for 10.2. Anyone want to make a motion?
Yes, I will move to approve the resolution to authorize the superintendent to sign applications for continued funding for the
Second.
California State Preschool Program.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. 10.3, Superintendent Kramer.
For the next two items, we're going to turn to our Assistant Superintendent Chief Business Officer, Mr. Todd Rivera.
Thank you, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, members of the board. So tonight, we're bringing two resolutions, Resolution Number 10, Resolution Number 11, which is a resolution authorizing the issuance of Tahoe Truckee Unified School District 2026 general obligation refunding bonds for a Series A and a Series B for our School Facility Improvement Districts Number 1 and School Facility Improvement Districts Number 2. And before we get into the heart of the resolutions, just to give you an overview of what this is not new debt. It is new debt, but what it is we're using it to refinance existing debt. As you know, we've passed several different general obligation bonds over the past 20-plus years to do facility improvements, the most recent being our 2014 general obligation bonds for measures U and E. And we issue those in separate series, so smaller chunks of the overall authorization. And with that, with each series, there is debt service obligations for that, for both not only principal but also interest. So we work with Kegent, and Kegent does a really great job. They're our financial advisor on monitoring our outstanding debt right now and looking for opportunities to do what's called a refunding or a refinancing. And it's similar to a home loan. When you go and refinance a home loan at a lower interest rate, you're lowering your overall interest payments over the life of the loan. So that's what we're looking to do here. And we do have Chris Hyatt from Kegent to do a brief presentation on some of the details.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. So thank you for the introduction. I think you covered it perfectly, by the way. You might as well be doing this presentation. You know all the details so well. But I am here tonight to talk about a potential refinancing, both in School Facility Improvement District Number 1 and in Number 2. So we'll get right into the presentation here. There are actually 3 series of bonds that can be refinanced. The Series B bonds from both Measure E and Measure U, along with a refinancing that was done back in 2013 that can be refinanced again. That one is also in SFID 2. So 3 series of bonds that we're looking to refinance. Under current interest rates, we're looking at savings of about $5.4 million in SFID 1 and $3.1 million in SFID 2. So pretty significant savings. All of those savings would go back to taxpayers in the form of lower property tax bills. So this is not something that would affect your general fund. This is all for the benefit of your taxpayers. The way it would work is you take old bonds at a higher interest rate and replace them with new bonds at a lower interest rate. So again, yes, very similar to refinancing a home mortgage. And we would not be extending the term of the bonds. In terms of issuance costs, we already have them included in these estimates. There would be no cost to the district if it is completed, and all the costs except for the credit rating are contingent on the actual sale. So if we authorize it tonight and interest rates go way up, we would just stop the process and there would be no cost to the district. In terms of timing, the earliest we can close these bonds and still issue them tax exempt would be May of 2026. So we will be working with district administration to determine the final timing, whether it be next month and have a long period between the sale and the close such that the closing occurs next May, or if we wait, continue monitoring the market and ultimately price the bonds next spring. So we'll work with district staff on the final timing. In terms of interest rates, we always get this question, is now a good time to be refinancing? We have a chart here showing municipal bond interest rates over the last year. I think notably you'll see a big spike in April. That's when federal tariffs were announced. And then you'll see on the right-hand side, as the Federal Reserve has taken action to cut interest rates both in September and October, we've started to see municipal rates come back down. We are anticipating potentially one more rate cut this year in December, but that's already somewhat baked into the market, so we are the benefit of that, it's already kind of included in the numbers, but hopefully that does eventually go through. And the reason this is beneficial for taxpayers is, of course, the savings. So on slide 3, we have a breakdown of the savings by year, and you can see that it goes all the way out to 2039 and 2041 for each of the series. And again, 5.4 million SFID 1 and 3.1 million SFID 2. We typically look at refinancing bonds when the present value savings is over 3%. You'll see on the chart on the right-hand side, there's the green numbers highlighted in there. The present value savings is at 9% and almost 8%. So we're well above that threshold that we like to see when we recommend refinancings to school districts. In terms of next steps, we're here tonight to give you the legal documents that would authorize us to take the next steps to proceed to actually sell the refinancings. With that accomplished, we would then go to the credit rating agencies to get an updated credit rating. You currently have a very, very strong AA1 rating, which is the second highest possible rating, and I believe it's the same as the U.S. government, so definitely can pat yourself on the back for that. So we'll get an updated credit rating before the bonds are sold, and then tentatively looking at selling the bonds as early as December, and again, closing in May, which is the earliest we can close the financing. That's all we have for you tonight. So any questions?
No, but thank you. That was very thorough. I really appreciate it. It makes sense now.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking it's nice to be able to provide this as a benefit back to our taxpayers too, because I feel like we ask a lot of our community and they're always seem willing to give. And anytime that we can be fiscally responsible, we are. And this is just another demonstration of that. And I think you just summarized it so well in your presentation. So thank you.
Not getting out of that drive that quickly. You have to come up still. Chris?
No, I'm good, thank you.
I snuck in my little quick comment, but thank you very much. We do love this, and I know that Todd works really well with you, and I think that I compliment him all the time in terms of the amount of times we've caught ourselves in being able to sell and actually get money and save money in amazing amounts. I guess you're dealing with a lot of numbers, and so or big amounts of money, so it does make a deal. But 8% is huge. I'm going to say I'm pretty excited about that. Piggybacking on what Danielle said, I just was trying to say, how do I publicize this before Measure AA comes up? If it's not going necessarily directly to us, and it is going to reduce something that the public needs to know, I think it's, and this is just publicly my opinion, but it's in our best interest to monopolize on that fact that we are financially and physically responsible enough to take the win and share it back.
Absolutely, and great comment. We would recommend, once the savings are locked in, once the bonds are sold, we can provide a sample press release that you can put on your website, you can put in the local newspaper, however you want to publicize it, but you certainly should, because you're doing a lot of work for your taxpayers, since it doesn't benefit the district directly.
Right, and again, I think that what you said too, that they're always there for us. Like every time we have a board meeting, there's always some donation, there's always some grant, there's always somebody from the town doing something for something, either the football field or for an eyeglass, wagon coming in to help the kids. So that is huge, and I mean, obviously, he does that all the time with you guys, and so thank you for being part of this team. Anything else you need to add to that, Todd?
No, just thank you, Chris. I appreciate the presentation. And I can go through the resolutions right now briefly just to tell you what's in them, and then we can consider them for approval.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. You're not getting out of that presentation.
I'm happy to do it, but Todd knows his stuff.
Okay, so the first resolution, I'll just talk about both of them. Resolution number 10, the resolution authorizing issuance of Tahoe Truckee Unified School District 2026 General Obligation Bonds Series A for SFID, or School Facilities Improvement District number 1. And that is our Truckee area bonds, so that would be the Measure U bonds. So included in that, this resolution gives us the authorization to issue new debt to refund old debt. Also included in the packet is a form of forward delivery purchase contract, and I might ask Chris to talk a little bit about that, but that is essentially, we have to wait in order to keep tax exempt status. If we wanted to use a forward delivery method, essentially that would be, okay, we sell the bonds now, but we don't close it out until we get closer to the call date of the bonds. And there's some interest premiums that are paid as a result of that. The other option is a current refunding, which would have to be closer to the call date, and actually may, depending on the market conditions, if we waited until April to do this, the market could change and we might not see the savings that we're hoping for. So we can issue the bonds on either method, so that's why we'll be monitoring the market conditions over the next few weeks and into, winter break and everything. And anything you want to add on forward delivery?
No, that you summarized it perfectly. That is the mechanism that would allow us to sell the bonds as early as next month, but not close them until May. The typical period between selling and closing is about a month, so since it's a little bit longer, you have to enter into a forward purchase contract with an underwriter. So this gives you the flexibility to either do that or wait until next year. But we have both options preserved in these legal documents.
Thank you. And then also, we have the preliminary official statement, which essentially is kind of a prospectus for investors that might want to purchase these bonds, has all the details and all the information surrounding the issuance. And then the form of continuing disclosure certificate, that is just a requirement that every year on any debt that we issue, that we do have to report any financial condition changes or anything like that could impact our rating, and we submit a bunch of information. Kegent does that for us into an overall federal clearinghouse called EMA, right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And then the last thing is just a form of escrow agreement, and that's generally with U.S. Bank Trust, and that's where the proceeds from the issuance go to prior to being paid out to refund the bonds. And that's pretty much the whole packet. The next resolution is pretty much the same components. However, it's a resolution to refund our SFID number 2, which is the Lakeside bonds for our Series B, 2014 Series B bonds, and also the 1993 refunding bonds that Chris had mentioned. Or the 2013 refunding bonds.
And the only thing I'll add on these legal documents is that the resolution's in final form and ready to be approved, but some of those form documents are still in form status, meaning that, it says final interest rates. Obviously, we don't have those yet. So there are some blanks in those documents intentionally.
Well, I'm liking 8 or 9%. Any other board comments? Thank you. I'll take them individually at this point. So thank you very much, Todd, and your team. Again, it's amazing what we learn here at this diocese. Would anyone care to make a motion for 10.3, Resolution 10?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution Number 10, 2025-26, authorizing TTUSD to issue the 2026 General Obligation Refund Bonds for SFID 1.
I'll second.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. And 10.4?
I'll move to approve resolution number 11-2025-26 to authorize the issuance of TTUSD 2026 General Obligation Refunding Bonds, Series B.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much for all that. That was lovely. Good effort.
Thank you.
I will again, advertising is going to be, we got Amber right behind you, so I think that's such a huge plus. But thank you for giving us something to celebrate. All right, have a safe travels back. 11.0 is grant.
And we turn back to Dr. Cohen.
Okay, thank you. This evening, I'm presenting a grant in the amount of $5,000 from the Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation to fund the Positively Rolling program. The core goal of the program is to support students' mental and emotional well-being by providing positive role models and a safe space to talk. This is a 5-week course that equips middle school students with coping skills that can be used for life. The funds are used to purchase skateboard decks and art supplies to allow students to create positive messaging. No grant application is required. It is staff's recommendation the Board of Trustees accept this grant in the amount of $5,000. Are there any questions?
Anything from the board?
Just very grateful.
This is the, we saw this at Alder Creek, correct?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, that was pretty good, and I think it's just creative, ways of doing it, and we talked about the fact that it's aligning with Truckee High, and but really creative, and just really happy that the foundation supported that. With that, would anyone care to make a motion for 11.1?
I'll move to accept the grant from Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation.
I'll second.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Moving on, that's awesome. Thank you very much for that. Moving on to 12.0, negotiations, Superintendent Kramer.
And this item is for Mr. Rivera, but I'm happy to sub in.
Oh, here he comes.
Oh, perfect timing, Mr. Rivera.
Perfect timing, Todd. Just moving.
These are important items because it basically explains to everyone with our agreement with both bargaining units, what's the financial impact with those salary increases. But feel free to take it away, Mr. Rivera.
I apologize. Assembly Bill 1200 requires our school districts, prior to approving or signing an agreement for a collective bargaining agreement, to first disclose the financial impacts and the major provisions of that tentative agreement. So the first disclosure we have here is for sorry, let me get my bearings. Tahoe Truckee Education Association. And within this agreement includes cost for our salary and compensation increases. So with TTEA, there was a one-time payment that's part of this agreement that's outside of the overall compensation in the amount of $1,200 per FTE. Also included is an overall compensation package of 3.57%, which split up is an increase to the salary schedule of 2.92% and an increase to the health and welfare benefit cap contribution of 8.5%. So the total cost on an annual basis for this agreement is $1,784,006 in the 25-26 school year, $1,468,693 in 26-27, and $490,365 in 2027-28. Also included in the disclosure documents, if you look at the budget numbers and the cost increases, there's a column that's called Other Revisions. That includes all of the costs associated with the bargaining agreement or tentative agreements that we came to with CSEA as well as management and confidential employees. So all costs are included for all bargaining units in this agreement or this disclosure. So as a result of not only the TTA fiscal impact, but also the other bargaining units, it will result in an operating deficit in the unrestricted general fund of $1,140,841 in the current fiscal year, and $913,421 in 2026-27. One thing I can say about those deficits is a portion of that is one-time cost. So those won't be an ongoing loss. Also, we do budget fairly conservatively in our multi-year projection. So next year, if our property taxes come in above the 3.25% that I'm projecting right now, that'll mitigate a big portion of that deficit in the out year. Overall, our reserve is still fairly healthy, staying at 14.03% in this year, and then dropping down slightly to 13.74% next year, and then the final year out, 27-28, it'll start to rise back up to 13.75%. I also say that we don't have all of our first interim adjustments in this disclosure, and we do expect to see some savings as well with vacancies, so some of these numbers are going to change throughout the year.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Rivera. Any questions for Todd before we move on to 12.2? Nope. Okay, back to you, Superintendent Kramer, 12.2.
And for this item, we turn to our Executive Director of Human Resources, Mr. Mike Shepard.
Thank you, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, members of the board. I'm pleased to present for your consideration the tentative agreement we've reached with Tahoe Truckee Education Association. We started negotiations much earlier this year than we traditionally do. Actually, we would probably start negotiating now. So we backed it up in light of our increased healthcare costs, so we appreciate TTEA partnering with us and starting early in the year so that we could complete this work. And so I won't repeat what Mr. Rivera said, other than to add there is some stipends here that will not take effect. Potentially they will take effect next year in light of assuming our property taxes come in above projection. These will automatically trigger and but we have that in line and we know about that. And I also want to point out we're happy making inroads on our, we removed a step again, creating a higher starting salary for our new employees, first-year teachers, to attract and retain. And our top salary, column 7, year 21, I'm pleased to announce is the highest in the county. So we've now eclipsed Roseville Joint High School District. So we're proud of the accomplishments, and we're proud of our labor partners helping us work together, and we're looking forward to a continued partnership. So with that, any questions?
Thank you for that, Mr. Shepard. That was, that's good. Any comments from the board?
I'm just happy that we're in a good place. Every penny of negotiated items is so worth it. We're so fortunate to have the level of educators that we have, the willingness to stretch. I'm just so proud to serve on this board, representing our community families. And thank you to the staff and to the TTEA folks. It's just been a good experience, and it's hard because of, I want to acknowledge what's happening with the healthcare costs, so just very, very proud. Thank you to everyone involved.
Thank you, Chris. This is an action item, so maybe I'll throw it back to you, Chris. Would you like to make a motion?
Well, sure. I would like to make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 tentative agreement between TTUSD and Tahoe Truckee Education Association.
I'll second.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Lovely. 12.3, Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, and we'll turn to Mr. Rivera.
Thank you. So now I bring to you the public disclosure for the proposed CSEA agreement. Again, it was a overall compensation package of 3.57%, the same as TTEA. Included in that 3.57% was a 2.648% increase to the overall salary schedule. In addition, we did make one range change for a classification, the library media tech, moving them from range 14 to range 16 on the salary schedule. So that's included in the cost as well. And then, again, the 8.5% increase to the annual health and welfare benefit contribution. And the different amounts are based kind of on how much the projected cost is for the health and welfare benefit contributions based on participation. That's why you'll see the salary increase a little different from the different units. In addition, we also will be offering the $1,200 bonus per FTE of the classified members. As far as the cost of this agreement, the cost for CSEA for the 25-26 school year is $1,073,844. In 26-27, that goes down to $786,565. And then in 27-28, the cost is $803,741. In addition, this disclosure also includes, in the other revisions column, the fiscal amounts for TTEA as well as management confidential. And just to be transparent, the amounts for management confidential, they also receive the $1,200 one-time payment, and then the 8.5% increase on health and welfare benefits. And the overall salary schedule increase was 3% for confidential and 3.027% for management. And again, the same information applies for the reserve and the deficits as the prior disclosure.
Thank you very much for that, Todd. Any questions or comments from the board? I like the fact that I think we've come a long way, as Chris Hennessy was just indicating, that the relationship between both bargaining units has been phenomenal. But the fact that we're putting everything, I mean, everything's the same. So when one bargaining unit gets one, we are pretty across the board. And a lot of work done from CSEA this last couple of years to make it so that we're all aware of what's out there. But I think it's been awesome. So thank you for all that. And with that,
Wait, Todd, can you just remind me really quick how much the insurance premiums have gone up recently, like past couple of years?
Yeah, so last year we experienced, I believe it was a 12% increase, and then this year it's a 24.7% increase.
So 36% over the last 2 years.
Roughly, yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much. I thought that I was making that up in my mind, and so now that it's actually true, I'm even in more shock. Okay, thank you.
well, again, this goes back to when we find these new things out of what's happening out there, how these teams sort of work together to get it so that we can adjust it really quickly, because that 37% that's outlandish.
It's criminal. I mean,
Right, so that, but,
it's
yeah.
criminal. Let's be honest. It's ridiculous.
Stupid. It is true.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the fact that both teams were ready to jump on it so we could get it, so that we did give you some support, health and welfare on that one. Oh. Okay.
We don't continue on this path, and that it's not a pattern.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, with that, any other, anyone, okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Not yet.
Oh, no.
Next one.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, phew, moving on. Thank you. 12.4, Superintendent Kramer.
We'll
I didn't
turn
check-
again to Mr. Shepherd.
Thank you. This, for your consideration, is our tentative agreement we've reached with CSEA. And I also want to acknowledge that they answered the call and joined us early this year. And I was a little remiss in painting the picture that it's not just a matter of, yeah, we'll meet early. Both groups survey their members, so they had to do that earlier. They had to put in work probably before even school started, and they were back. So I just want to acknowledge the partnership and thanking both groups for rising and to help us meet these the ongoing health costs. So with the tentative agreement for CSCA, I'll just highlight a couple of things. We clarified some trip bidding language in transportation, some just updating kind of what has been in practice, but we wanted to memorialize it. So we updated that. We also agreed to continue the winter stipend, which acknowledges the hard work our snow removal crew, which is all hands on deck, as you well know, for custodian maintenance to get our schools ready to open. When we're all snug in bed, they're shuffling, so we thank them for that. And also, we're continuing the classified summer assistance program where members can choose to set aside from their paycheck a certain percentage every month, and then the state will, depending on their funding, will match up to dollar for dollar. It doesn't work out quite that way, but they do come up with a match. And that's for less than 12-month classified employees who can bridge a little bit of pay in the month of July when they're not receiving a paycheck. So with that, any questions?
Well, I just want to echo my comments to CSEA. Same thing. So proud. Thank you so much for all the hard work that your group does, and just thank you to the bargaining team on behalf of the school district, but on your behalf too. Very, very proud, again, to serve on this board with such representation on the school sites, on the bus stops, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you.
With that, that is an action item. If there's no more comments or questions, would anyone care to make a motion to approve 12.4?
I'll make the motion to approve the 2025-26 tentative agreement with TTUSD and the California School Employees Association, our chapter 383, including MOU number 1 and number 2.
Thanks. And a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you for that. Moving to 13.0 personnel, Superintendent Kramer.
I know. But there's more. But wait, there's more. Mr. Shepherd, item 13.1, please.
Thank you. For your consideration tonight, I'm presenting the meet and confer agreement with the confidential employees. And basically, as Mr. Rivera stated, some of the dollar amounts pan out slightly differently based on the cost of different things, but the overall compensation is the same as all other groups, 3.57%. And in addition, they wanted to change their longevity to mirror more closely, just a little raise in the amounts, so we did agree to that. nominal increase. And then also, they wanted to take advantage of the professional growth opportunity program that we negotiated last year with CSCA. And that's a typical practice in districts that confidential kind of follows a lot of some of the provisions that we negotiate with classified. So in this instance, we did agree to that. And so they will have the option to seek professional growth and get reimbursed in the same manner as classified employees. And with that, any questions?
Lots of excitement. Any comments or questions from the board? Thank you. With this action item, anyone want to make a motion for 13.1?
I'll move to approve 2026 meet and confer agreement between TTUSD and Confidential.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Perfect. 13.2, Superintendent Kramer.
Mr. Shepherd?
Thank you. And finally, I'm pleased to present the meet and confer agreement between the district and our management employees. And similarly, it's, as Mr. Rivera said, it's the overall compensation of 3.57%. And I don't know if I explained the difference between meet and confer. We're not management, confidential, or not unions. It doesn't fall under PERB in that way. So it's really a meet and confer agreement, which is we have a discussion, but it's not an official negotiations. And so with that, any questions?
No, but thank you for the clarification. And it is a reminder, too, that you are not part of the union, and that's good to remember. Any other comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, this is an action item.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025-26 meet and confer agreement between TTUSD and the management employees.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. And 13.3.
For this item, we'll also turn to Mr. Shepherd.
Thank you. This is the second Committee on Assignments recommendation we have brought to you this year. Typically, you do one, but we did outline 3 additional teachers who are teaching outside their credential. And the Education Code 44258.7 C and D allows certificated teachers to teach a course outside their credential area if they have training or experience. And in this case, Lori Cusson's teaching personal finance, Michael Mazzi is teaching AP Computer Science, and Jonathan Levin is teaching yearbook. There is not a credential for yearbook. So with that, for your consideration, any questions?
Seeing none from the board. Michael, I just was going to ask, if they are on assignment, do we have to provide them, since there is nothing for a yearbook, are they required to get any kind of training from us because they don't have that credential, or is this just?
No,
Okay.
no. The training would be inherent in the position. So, for example, if you're using yearbook software, that would be trained. You'd be trained in that. But these courses, the principals have deemed that they're qualified. The teachers have to consent to the assignment. So it's not like we can't force a teacher to teach outside their credential area. So part of our committee process, we review. The committee reviews the assignment. The teacher has had a conversation with the principal. They've consented to the assignment, and this is a formality to you as a board are designating that they are qualified to teach these courses.
Gotcha. Awesome. Okay, thank you very much for that clarification, and this is an action item, so would anyone want to make a motion for 13.3?
I'll make a motion to approve the additional Committee on Assignment recommendations for the 2025-2026 school year.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thanks. All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much. Moving to 14.0. Ba-bam. Superintendent Kramer?
Yes, and if Melissa Cruz, our CSEA president, is coming up. Thank you, Melissa. Good evening, board and cabinet. Sorry, I was ready to go, so started walking before you introduced me. You guys all stole my thunder, but I'm still going to go over what I was going to say. I have a couple other little things too, but yeah, a little bit about negotiations. After 3 sessions meeting with the district, we came to a fair agreement. It was a bit challenging to decide where to put our focus this year with the benefits going up so high, but the conversations and collaboration was great, and we really feel like our team did the best for our unit. So thank you to the district for listening to our thoughts, our concerns, and doing what they could to come to this agreement. We appreciate you guys. We settled on the overall 3.57, which they talked about. That went to benefits, to our salary schedule, as well as our amazing library media specialists, which we are calling them now, formerly known as library media assistants. The reason for this change was their job duties and responsibilities have changed tremendously over the last few years with technology and Chromebooks, and they assist in a way, but they really are no assistant to somebody. They run their own show, and they're amazing, so we felt they deserved that. So we moved them a range, which was great, and it was only about a handful of them, so it wasn't a huge chunk of money that took away from the whole unit. So we felt great about that, and they were very appreciative. The district also agreed on the one-time monies for us, the $1,200 that goes to all classified, as well as the 2 MOUs that they mentioned, the $1,500 stipend for custodial maintenance, warehouse delivery, and transportation. There were some questions of, well, why doesn't everybody get it? We all have to drive in the snow. And I said, well, you don't get up at 2 in the morning and shovel. So we appreciate them so much. And they really are appreciative of this stipend that they get throughout the winter. It helps just a little. So, and then the CSAP program, which is the California School Summer Assistance Program. People are so excited about that. And they've done it. I guess next year will be our 3rd year that we've done it. But the cool part was so many people got an extra paycheck, and they were like, what was this money for? Someone's like $600, and they weren't expecting it. And so I called Mike, and he said, well, initially they said 64 cents to the dollar, and then when all the actuals came in, it was 81 cents. So that's a lot of money, and it's free money for them. Like, they put aside a certain amount, and then they get it matched. So it's a great program. We appreciate you guys supporting that. And then we also made some changes to the contract language for transportation. It was just too vague and not clear on how the whole process of trip bidding worked, and it seemed unfair, and it was kind of up to anybody's translation. And so we fixed that to make it really clear on how the procedure works. Other than negotiations, it's relatively quiet, and everyone seems happy right now. So we are looking forward to the holiday season for some breaks. And we are very grateful for you guys. So have a good night.
14.2, Superintendent Kramer.
It's my pleasure to invite up our TTA President, Mrs. Erin LaFevers.
Might get along. Oh. Well, happy fall. The weather outside just finally turned, but it's been beautiful. I know that our skiers are all starting to ramp up as the fall sports are ending. Our skiers and snowboarders and Nordic skiers are chomping at the bit. I will be spending Saturday down at Rancho San Rafael Park with the cross-country teams. And hopefully it'll be a repeat for both high schools, with the looking strong. Elementary and middle schools, I asked for shout-outs, and everybody looked at me like, I am way too busy to talk to you. But the elementary and the middle schools have wrapped up their conference week, and now the elementary is wrapping up their first trimesters, and so getting those little kiddo grades in. And the conferences were cute. My stepdaughter just filled me in on how good our little granddaughter's doing, and it's kind of fun because Taylor has one of my former students, and so it's like, oh, now you get to experience grand students on there. The TTEA, our rep council meeting last month was based on kind of just a retraining of our site reps, which we do every year with John Halverson coming up just to make sure that we are providing what we need to provide for our members. This next month, we are also doing a 2-hour training, but it's with the CTA equity team. And so hopefully, if there's no snow, the guy will be able to come up from Sacramento and continue to help us work by being TTA being an equitable organization, as well as using those skills in our classes as well, and to deal with our students and stuff. And then we're continually grateful for the working relationship that we have with the union, or between the union and the district. It's really nice to email Mike and say, hey, do you have a minute to chat? And then the same thing of like, hey, this is coming up, or I have a question about something that the member has asked. And so it's really nice having that interactive in there. And teachers all teachers have been going through at the high school level. I've been working with Sarah Colburn with our ELD training, and I know that's wrapping up here soon. So it's nice, even as a seasoned veteran, whatever you call us now, teachers, to kind of think about what we're doing in our classes and how are we affecting our students in the classes with us. So, and then, yep, we're like CSEA, we're looking forward to some breaks and hopefully some snow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Okay, moving to 15.0. Superintendent Kramer. Are there any changes to the consent agenda as presented?
No items pulled by staff.
And board, would anyone need to pull anything from here? With that, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, that was quick. Let me get that one done. And a quick disclosure, I know we're going to get into the educational services at 17.0. Just a reminder to the board that the board does get homework, and big shout out to Sean Roderick, who actually answered all the questions that came through on our homework. But just a reminder that even though that does sound like we're just stamping, there was a lot of homework that got done, and we'll move on to 17.0.
And it's my pleasure to turn it over to our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Mrs. Shawn Roderick. And as President Driller noted, our board are amazing. They review the packet ahead of time, and with student data, which the heart of our board, they are about students. They want our students growing and learning as much as possible every day. And so they ask great questions to Mrs. Roderick to make sure they really understood how our kids are doing and what kind of progress we're making. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Mrs. Roderick.
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, members of the board, and community. Tonight, we are pleased to present the Spring 2025 results of the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress, CASP. This report will focus on our district's performance in both mathematics and English language arts and share a summary of our 2025 LPAC progress. The objective this evening is to provide an overview of our students' performance. We will begin by looking at the progress our students are making on the English Language Proficiency Assessment, or LPAC. Following that, we will review our district-wide performance on math and English Language Arts state assessments. This slide serves as a quick reference for key terms we will use throughout the presentation. Here's a snapshot of our district's enrollment this year compared to last year. As you can see, our student body remains relatively stable year over year, providing a consistent and reliable baseline for our comparisons. I'm pleased to start this presentation off with positive news regarding our English learners. This graph shows the percentage of students who successfully progressed at least one full level on the English Language Proficiency Assessment. We saw a positive increase from 35% of students growing last year to 37% this year. Over the last 2 years, we have strategically focused on providing time for our English language development coordinators and specialists to work directly together in supporting our students. We've also dedicated significant time to professional development in both designated and integrated English language development. District-wide, we have now embedded dedicated time into daily schedules to support our English learners through both specialized support and integrated classroom instruction. This evening in our math overview, we will review performance data for our overall student population. Students in the far below range are English learners, students with disability, and our long-term English learners. We begin with this chart, which displays the percentage of students meeting or exceeding the standard broken down by grade level. We are pleased to report positive growth in grades 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8, with our 4th and 7th graders showing particularly strong gains. However, we do see a dip in performance in 5th and 6th grade, as well as a static result in 11th grade, which highlights these are clear areas for instructional focus in the upcoming year. This slide presents the inverse view, the percentage of students scoring 4 or below the standard in math. What we are looking for with this particular set of data is a drop in the blue bar, meaning we have fewer students in 4 or below, moving into level 2 or above. Positively, we see significant decreases in the number of students in this category for 3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 11th grades, with our 11th grade cohort showing a notable 5-point drop. Our growth opportunity here is in 4th and 8th, where we saw students stay stagnant in their growth. Here we take a deeper look at our English learners' performance in math. While we see some encouraging bright spots, particularly in 4th and 5th, 7th and 11th grade, this data clearly illustrates a significant growth opportunity. In grades 3, 6, and 8, we saw a decline in proficiency. This slide further emphasizes the challenge showing the percentage of English learners scoring far below in math. In this data set, a positive trend is indicated by a drop in the blue bar, which means fewer students are in the lowest category and moving into higher performance levels. We do see this positive movement in 4th and 6th grades, where the number of students in this band decreased. However, the data for our upper grades is concerning. The increase in 8th grade scoring 4 or below from 85 to 90% signals that we continue to focus on strategies to support students in our new math adoption. This slide summarizes our math performance across key student groups. As a whole, the district's overall performance improved by 3 percentage points, from 49 to 52%. We also see some small positive gains for our English learners and our long-term English learners. Our students with disabilities remained stagnant at 16%, stable at 16%, which presents a significant growth opportunity as we strive to close the achievement gap. Looking at the students scoring far below in math, we see a positive trend across the board. The overall percentage of students in this category dropped 2 points, from 27 to 25%. More importantly, we saw decreases for our students with disabilities, our English learners, and a 5-point drop for our long-term English learners, indicating that our support systems are beginning to make an impact. In summary, our math data shows positive overall improvement with a 3-point gain in proficiency for all students. We're also seeing small incremental gains for our student subgroups. However, the data clearly shows that a significant achievement gap persists between our overall student population and our English learners and students with disabilities. This will remain as a primary area of focus. To address these gaps, our action steps will be targeted and intentional. We'll provide professional development focused on integrating language support strategies directly into our math lessons. We will also enhance collaboration time for teachers to share best practices that are proving successful. We will implement progress monitoring using our new iReady diagnostic data to ensure students receive the right support at the right time. Moving into English language arts, this slide shows a proficiency by grade level. We see positive overall growth with a 2-point increase from 60 to 62%. This growth was most significant at the 11th grade level, which saw a remarkable 7-point jump. We also saw gains in 4th, 5th, and 7th grade. Our opportunities are in 3rd, 6th, and 8th grade, where we saw a slight decline this year. This slide represents the inverse view, the percentage of students scoring far below the standard in English language arts. With this particular set of data, a positive trend is represented by a drop in the blue bar, which means fewer students are in the lowest category and are moving into level 2 or above. We see positive growth here as the percentage of students scoring far below decreased in nearly every grade level, contributing to a 2-point drop overall. The 5-point decrease in 5th grade, the 5-point drop in 8th grade, and the 5-point drop in 11th grade are all significant achievements. We will focus our attention on 6th grade, which saw a slight 1-point increase in this area. When we look at our student groups in English language arts, we see a 2-point increase in proficiency for all students. We also saw a 2-point increase for our long-term English learners. However, our English learners and our students with disabilities both experienced slight declines. This slide presents the inverse view showing the percentage of students scoring far below by the student group. As with the previous slide, a positive trend was represented by a drop in the blue bar, as it means we have fewer students in the lowest category. We see positive movement for all groups. Overall, the number of students scoring far below dropped 2 points. We saw a significant 7-point decrease for our students with disabilities and a remarkable 11-point decrease for our long-term English learners. This suggests our interventions are reaching these specific student groups, though we must continue to work to close the achievement gap. To summarize our English language arts data, we are pleased to report overall improvement, with students moving into the at or above standard category and fewer in the far below. However, a significant achievement gap remains for our key student groups, a major factor and opportunity for growth in our new language, English language arts, and English language development adoption. Our action steps for English language arts are threefold. We will continue with targeted interventions and resources for our students who are not yet meeting the standard. We'll use data-driven decision-making to monitor student progress and adjust instruction on a regular basis. And finally, we will provide professional development focused on integrated language strategies and academic discourse to ensure strong Tier 1 instruction across the district. As we move forward, our next steps are organized around our district's core pillars: academic achievement, support systems, and community connections. This framework ensures we're engaging and empowering all students, educators, and staff to achieve their full potential. Specifically, this work aligns with 2 key priorities. First, we will deliver an effective data-driven curriculum by implementing our new English language arts adoption with fidelity and by using our math and academic discourse walkthrough tool to refine our instruction. Secondly, we will ensure achievement for all students by retaining our excellent staff and offering high-quality professional learning, including continuing to support our new math curriculum as we transition to the new English language arts and English language development adoption. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for that, Sean. I do know that we had some good questions, and I know that they were answered prior to the meeting. Any other additional questions from you guys as we saw the presentation. Now, interesting to see these numbers. What do you have, Pat?
I have questions, but you can go ahead.
No, it's just, go ahead. That's,
Thank you. First of all, thanks for responding to our questions earlier. I know those were provided to you on very short notice, and you gave us a very thorough response in a very short amount of time. So thank you for that very much. I will try not to. I'll try to give you more time in the future.
No problem.
As part of the next steps, see, I think I called it an action plan before, but I'm not sure. In regard to PLCs, as part of the plan as part of the plan to address the deficiencies that we saw in some of the scores and some of the on the charts. You mentioned that you're working with Solution Tree to support and coach our administrative team on building effective collaborative teams in PLCs. Can you tell me more about who Solution Tree is, why them, what they're going to be providing?
That's a great question. So Solution Tree is an outside organization that focuses on education and overall academic achievement through various lenses. Most times you'll see Solution Tree working with new teachers on building teacher capacity, as well as overall growth for student engagement and opportunities to develop those Tier 1 learning opportunities. So what we did is we partnered with Solution Tree after visiting with them at a local conference and seeing results that they had with like-sized districts on their student growth and achievement through CASP in a short time frame by tweaking just how they did their PLCs at these schools. And so the coach is working with our administrators to take a look at what are we doing in our PLCs that are currently effective, and what do we need to reframe to bring a higher level of collaboration and communication amongst teachers, principals, and cross-collaboration through the lens of using data to drive our Tier 1 instructional practices. So they're with us for 3 years, and over the course of 3 years, they're going to train us on using our data to really dive into a deeper analysis of what it is that we see, where our students are struggling and where our students are achieving, and crossing those references to make a clear instructional plan district-wide that can be implemented in each and every classroom with the same strategies and goals.
I wonder, I mean, that sounds great. And it sounds like they've had success and that you've done the research on that. I also wonder, I mean, I think it would be beneficial, but I would ask you how beneficial it would also be to survey the teachers to ask them how they would like to proceed with a change in PLCs to make it more productive and more effective.
It's a great question. So part of what we're doing with the administrators this year is rebuilding that foundation so that they work collaboratively with the teachers. And what we're looking at is releasing the administrator oversight and bringing in the teacher lens so that the teachers drive that instructional change alongside with their principal.
In conjunction with the Solution Tree coaches.
In conjunction with the Solution Tree coach, yes.
Curious to see how that happens. But okay, I think you're aiming high, so I think that's great.
Shoot for the stars.
Can you could you go to slide 15, slide 15. The percentage of students at or above standard.
Right there. Math or ELA?
Sorry, ELA.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
So these numbers look pretty good, I think, compared to everything else I've seen, all the other charts.
Comparatively, as a district overall, our all student population and our EO students, we're doing extremely well. As I mentioned in the slide presentation, where we see the gap is with our subgroups, and that's why we're focusing that intentionality in our PD, as Mrs. Lefevre shared, with Sarah Colburn going into schools and doing intentional instructional practices for integrated ELD and that Tier 1 capacity.
Right, so I'm not necessarily talking about the change from year to year, but just the level that these are at.
Yeah.
That's, okay. All right, and now if I want to, like, my interest really is in cohort data. I'd like to know, from year to year, the same kids. So if I'm looking at this, for example, the third graders in the first column, the third graders from 23-24 are more or less the same kids in the blue column of fourth grade, right? So you got to make that leap to see the same kids.
Correct.
That would be a chart I'd like to see.
I can share that with you tomorrow,
Okay.
and then I'll add it to my.
And just this one, you don't have to do them, just this one.
Yep. And I'll add it to my presentation for further reference.
So what I see here then is that our third graders, the same cohort stayed the same.
Yeah.
From third to fourth grade. Right. Okay, but from fourth to fifth grade, that group of kids made a big leap from 55% to 61%.
Correct.
Okay, so when you look at cohorts, the numbers look a little bit different. I'm not going to scramble my brain by going through all of them, but it would be nice to see just this chart, though, not all of them.
I think that's something that, I'm sorry, Danielle, go ahead.
It's funny because it's so much data, right? And so we're looking at it from so many different ways. And the one thing that I took away was like sixth grade's really hard because I feel like a lot of the data just showed like a little bit of a dip for the sixth graders. And I feel like out of all the transitions that happen in our different grades, that one seemed to be most noticeable to me. And I don't think it's anything that our district is doing or our schools are doing. I think it's just developmentally, it seems like the kids struggle with that grade in particular, and the testing, I think, is hard for them, just in general, to take that time to focus and understand the importance of it. I feel like the sixth grade brain is kind of like, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't.
Pre-adolescence.
Pat, I was going to say the same thing on those questions. Cohorts are always good just to see, and I wondered too, like sometimes some classes that they just go through the whole, they just go and you're like, oh gosh, here they come. But it is interesting to see just to tweak it, but as you said, that
Destroy your data.
Yes.
Unless you can pull them out and look at them as a cohort.
Yeah. Right, which is something that, again, if you're going to have to like look at it to get, yeah, I agree.
So on that note, though, I mean, there's been different people sitting at your seat, Ms. Roderick, and different people sitting at Trustee Mooney's seat, and the conversation is the same every year and every time we get data. So are we at a point about the cohort specifically? Are these the same kids? Are these the same students? So are we at a point in the district where when the board gets data, we are able to assume we are looking at the same cohort of students? Or is it still depending on the presentation? Because that's always been the thing, like we get data from the schools and presentations from the school and from the department, and that's always been the request, right? Like, can we please like get data on the same kids year after year so we can really see what's happening in the district? And I feel like with you at your seat, we're turning that corner, right? I feel like the board's requested it enough year after year. So would you say that you're still working on that with different presentations and what you require from the schools? Or can we now just know that when we're seeing third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, it's always the same third graders, fourth graders, fifth graders? Am I explaining myself correctly?
With that chart, that right there, what Pat was doing would show you an unmatched cohort. So it's pretty close in the demographics data that Sean shared. We don't have a whole lot of movement in and out. So she will have unmatched cohort charts ready for you by tomorrow. But what you're seeing there is two different groups of kids compared. So that brown line and that blue line for third grade, that's two different years of third graders. But what Pat was doing is if you look at the brown for third and then the blue for fourth, that in a sense is an unmatched cohort.
Right, I followed his line of questioning, which prompted my thought, like, are we getting, or is that a goal that's going to be the norm when we get data?
Trustee Hennessy.
Does that make sense?
I think what I can share with you is we have cleaned up what we're looking at for data. I think that's part of that question. And now when we look at data, it is accurate and measurable and viable, where we can make assumptions and goals around it to move our students forward. And they're all looking at the same data. So we provide the packets to the administrators to share with their teachers. So it's not, what do I want to pull? It's what we've pulled. We vet it within my department to say this is viable, reliable. Now use this to help drive your instructional goals forward.
So, Chris, are you asking that we always get a cohort report? Because or do you have to have information that shows it like this for your reports? Because again, we've always done this. So we've always had it here. This is what the scores are. And then we always ask, well, what's the cohort look like? I think that when we do these reports, I think this is just the way it comes out, that this is.
Right, but do you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah,
'Cause
so why don't we get
Because I don't
cohorts?
want to give extra pressure. I can probably regroup myself and have a conversation with Superintendent Kramer, because what I'm after is, so in 4 months, I'm looking at data on 7th graders and their improvement from last year. Are they last year's 6th graders are they the same group? And again, I'm sorry to do this, like, I probably should have prep my brain a little bit better, but I think I need to regroup and have that conversation during our one-on-one time, because it's unfair to you for me to be brainstorming off the top of my head. But I think some of you know what I'm talking about, because we lived through years of Trustee Larson just, like, what is happening? Why can't we tell that that's what I'm after, but I think I need to regroup in my own time and have the conversation with you, so it's fair to you.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
we can invite Mrs. Roderick, and then it sounds like we'll set up another time to have the cohort data shared. We'll put it in the board letter this Friday, and then we can come back at the next meeting and look at the cohort data. I love it.
Okay, and then the last thing I want to say is just not in defense of, but having empathy for the English learners and the what do we call them, long-term English learners? Having been one in my elementary and middle school years and so forth, I understand we're responsible for their outcomes, and we're working with them and learning how to support that group better. I just want to say that even though on paper it looks this way, and it's, data doesn't lie, that they have different strengths, and they will have different strengths as adults. Their brains are like multiple languages, multiple problem solving. I still do math and Spanish as a 58-year-old adult. So I'm very glad that we have the resources to help this subgroup, but I want to just kind of stand up for them, because they are building different strengths that some of our other subgroups won't have. So I just want to say that.
And when you look at the data, we can see that the glimmers of where they are finding success. So although it's not exactly where we want it to look on paper, we're seeing it in the classroom, and then we are seeing it even on paper in a marginal growth. So we know what we're doing is working. We just got to keep the wheels spinning.
How far back in years does this data go?
I can take it back, really with COVID, I would say, to be accurate with our students and the data that we receive from CASP 22, 23, it's probably our most current, up-to-date.
Can you add one more
viable.
year then to that? Thank
Yep.
you.
To capture the beginning of school closures.
I just would like to see more years. This is interesting, the 2 years, and, doing the visual thing to see the cohorts, but yeah. It is, because it's not easy for me, believe me.
That's awesome.
And can I ask one more question?
Absolutely, Pat.
And that is, when I asked regarding new curricular and instructional ideas, you mentioned targeted ELA approach, adopting a targeted ELA approach. Could you talk more about that, what that is?
So what we're looking at with our ELA adoption is ensuring that we invite all members of the teacher group to the table to really look at what they're seeing in the classroom from the lens of a teacher for student growth and development, more oversight on what their needs are, and what curricula is available to support their students. They're the ones doing the heavy lift. They're working closely with their kiddos, so we want their voice at the table to really support that adoption process.
Okay, I'm glad I asked, because I think I misread this. I see now, okay, I thought you were adopting a targeted ELA approach, when in fact you have a targeted EL approach for adopting a new curriculum.
Correct. Yes. You're welcome.
Way to go, Pat. His math brain is overtaking his English brain.
I was right the first time.
So, good effort. Well, that was exciting. That was good. Again, really appreciate the conversation prior to, and then it just makes us all sort of understand what's going on. So that is awesome. This is just an info item only, so there's no action, but really appreciate, that was a lot. So that was good. Moving to 18.0, Superintendent Kramer.
And for our first three reads tonight, all three of them, we turn to Dr. Cohen.
Okay, thank you. Tonight I'm presenting a first read of proposed revision to Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 5145.7, sexual harassment. It has been updated due to the new court decision, Tennessee versus Cardona, vacating the August 1st, 2024 Title IX regulations. This requires enforcing Title IX under prior regulations, as clarified by OCR. It also reflects a new law, SB 1137, covering discrimination or harassment based on the combination of two or more protected bases. Other changes clarify characteristics for sexual harassment and move the general Title IX compliance statement to the policy and delete specific examples. This will return for action at the next board meeting. Are there any questions?
Seeing none from the board, thank you for that update on that ever-changing topic. 18.2, Superintendent Kramer.
Yeah, and this is a first read of proposed revision to Administrative Regulation 5145.71, Title IX Sexual Harassment Complaint Procedures, in which the regulation is updated also due to the Tennessee versus Cardona decision vacating the August 1st, 2024 Title IX regulations. The older version applies to sexual harassment complaints for conduct occurring between August 14th, 2020 and July 31st, 2024, and after July 9th, 2025. There is a clarification that the emergency removal of a student respondent may not constitute discipline, and that records of insurance covering sexual assault must be maintained indefinitely. This will be brought back for action at the next board meeting. Are there any questions?
Seeing none from the board, we will accept that and move to 18.3, Superintendent Kramer.
Dr. Cohen?
And this is a first read of the revision to Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 5145.3, Non-Discrimination and Harassment Policy, also updated due to the Tennessee versus Cardona and OCR's subsequent guidance to enforce pre-August 1st, 2024 regulations. The policy clarifies characteristics that may serve as a basis for unlawful discrimination and makes restorative justice, culturally sensitive programs for the perpetrator and victim check-ins permissive, so they are encouraged and not required after racist bullying incidents. The regulation updates also to align with the vacated Title IX regulations. This will also be brought back for action at the next board meeting. And are there any questions?
Seeing none from our quiet board right now, that was good. We will bring this back as consent. But I think I was with my sister in Vermont, and we were talking about her board, and I said, I think our board, or not even our board, but our cabinet reviews policies on a pretty regular basis where we go through different, you this time, and it may be, Todd the next time, but she was, well, again, it makes sense to do, but I did compliment our team that, you guys definitely take effort into looking at each one, and we're not just doing one, we sort of are across the board, making sure that everyone's sort of involved with keeping up on our policies, because there's tons, and now the ever-changing, but just wanted to acknowledge and appreciate the first reads, and we'll move to 19.0. Kirsten Levac, do you feel like starting us off?
Sure, I don't have a lot, but I will share that I participated, as you all did, in our annual governance, or biannual, like second one this year? No. Yeah, so our annual governance workshop, and I found it really valuable, and I really appreciated everyone coming to the table with kind of what our hopes and goals are for this district, and sharing how we govern through them, and just keeping everybody in mind, not just ourselves or each other, but our staff and our families. So that was a great day. And then I also had the privilege this year to again volunteer in the, I'm going to botch this, but the voter outreach at North Tahoe High School, where Placer County Representative comes and she asks for people to volunteer who are elected officials. Is that a word? Sounds so official. And always, it's the school board. There are so many elected positions in Placer County on the eastern side of Placer County, and it's always the school board that volunteers and gets chosen to do it. So I was so proud of our students, because it's a panel where there's different parties represented and then an elected official, bipartisan. And the students have really deep questions, things that we sit around with our families on our couches and talk about in the evening. These kids brought forth, and they challenged the parties represented, and it was great. And shout out to Miss J at North Tahoe High School for continuing to do this. And I know it sets the beginning of a curriculum piece for her, so it's always really fun to be in her classroom. And I think that's all I have for right now. Yeah, thank you.
I went through the parent volunteer process so that I can be a driver. So maybe I just volunteered myself for more things, I don't even know. But I will be driving the Truckee High Model UN students down to Stanford this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be super fun and such a great experience for them. And then other than that, we did the governance workshop and a lot of community events. So the Little Bird recital, and then lots of trick-or-treating out in Glenshire, which was fun because there was a high school band that played in one of the yards, and they were so good. And I do think that this is the Tahoe Expedition Academy band, but blown away with their skills and just the community support of watching high school kids play. So that was super fun. Yeah.
I too went to the helped out with the voter information day over at North Tahoe High School, and as Trustee Hennessy mentioned, it was very interesting. I was really impressed by the questions that the students asked, and they were not afraid to push a little bit. And I want to thank Mrs. Jaworski for lending her classroom for that. I guess she does it every year. I want to go again next year. I thought it was really interesting. Might be even more interesting next year. And the governance workshop, the half-day governance workshop was, I think, extremely productive and helpful. It was great for us to have an opportunity to have that big chunk of time to really sit down and hash through things, and well, that sounds like we were arguing, but we weren't, and discuss and just have conversations that sort of sometimes took their own path and were unagended, I guess you could say. And I really got a lot out of that, and I really appreciate everybody's participation in that as well. I'm looking forward tomorrow to visiting Truckee High and Alder Creek Middle School to do an informal assessment of screen time. Which anyone who has kids I know is concerned about screen time, as an adult also probably. But then also we have an AI committee that starts up here pretty soon. I'm looking forward to being on that as well, to help see what kind of direction we are going to take with the onset of AI in the classroom. Looking forward to all those things. Thank you.
Awesome. You can tell school started. We're kind of on a roll. Tomorrow morning, I'm hoping to catch the volleyball girls from North Tahoe as they take the parade with the cops and fire trucks and everybody going through town on their send-off. I'm happy to see so many other ones. One of the things that came out of that conference, or our governance, which was, it was unagendized conversation, and then our facilitator, I did thank her, just letting us go with it. And I think it was so well worth it. I appreciate the time that we did. I think it was awesome. We talked about doing it again and having another one so that we can have more of those. Just brings us back down. And one of the things we talked about, obviously, is how to make sure everyone is able to talk freely and support each other, but just being aware of there are going to be some major things that are going to come down the pipe, and how do we react? And I think that we really have a solid group of board members that are vested in the goal of enhancing our children's educational experience, but then it takes a whole community of everybody. So I think it was awesome. I think half day was wonderful. It was really good. One of the things that also came out of that is, I thought that was a great, and I think that was your aha as well, is that we as a board try to go to and that's part of our board comments at the end, is we try to recognize what we've done and how to report out where we were. But one of the things that as a board, we are not making individual decisions, we make it as a board. And when we go to these events, we're representing the board. So if I go to Truckee River Day, which I did this last 2 weeks ago, I'm there as a TTUSD board representative, which I think it enables us to cover more bases, but also hopefully everyone understands that if you see me there, you know that the whole board is going to know that we went. So we talked about the board business and how it isn't just us, I did this, this, and this. It is a chance for the community to see that this board is actively involved in as much as we possibly can, whenever we can. And dang, Danielle, getting the volunteer done. Whew.
That's not easy
Don't say that. It was really, really easy. Election with Miss J's class, that was an eye-opener. Definitely contentious at times, but also Miss J has it's a great class, and it's a really good thing to do, and it's really good to see the answers that the kids had. Mountain biking team ended at North Star. I think we got third for our little school. Great season, great finishes. It was really fun. And then, the governance was really good. And then one of the things that I just wanted to highlight that you had mentioned is something about our one-on-ones. Superintendent Kramer does make a point to once a month have a one-on-one with all of us, just throwing it out, that this is where you have a chance to talk about what you need. And so all those things that you wanted to talk about that you just don't really have the right time, there's always an opportunity, anytime it is. But this is a sort of a calendared time, which I think is, and again, I didn't do it as much when Dr. Leary was here, and I kept asking Caitlin, how did you get all those conversations with Dr. Leary? But it is something that I think has helped with when listening to our governance. I think it's one of those things that makes our team really feel like we can talk and we have an ear and a heart for everybody. With that, oh no, dang it, back at you.
I would be spending the night in the garage if I failed to mention that the Truckee High School Drama Department is staging Little Women on the weekend of November 14 and 15, and those are Fridays and Saturdays, and November 21st and 22nd, also Friday and Saturday. Tickets can be purchased at the high school website as well as at the door. Please come. It's going to be wonderful.
Well, now I have to do it because I don't have the exact dates. They're both in November. They both include TTUSD students across the board. Boys and Girls Club is doing the Addams Family in November, and the Tahoe Truckee Community Theater is doing Matilda in November. And again, our students are the main scene, so please go and support your arts.
But if you can only afford one of them, support your local high school drama department.